Hi guys, welcome back. It's Darnell here, and today we are installing this delay wiper kit on my U10 Pro. Stay tuned. So as you can see here, we have the old style of knob here, and we're going to replace this, and we're going to install the new one here, the new design, and it closely resembles the four-wheel drive button, so I find it looks better. So that's what we're doing today, guys. So the first step to do this is you remove these little push pins, and you have one here, you have one here, and you have one on the other side here. So there's three of them to take off. How you take them off is when you'll see here that there's a little slot here on either side here. That's where you put a screwdriver when it's in there, and you kind of just pry it. Don't pry it too hard because you might break it. Trying to just twist it, and maybe sometimes you'll have to turn this around and get two screwdrivers on each side of the clip in order to pop it. But most times it's easy to take off. So there's these three screws here to do. And then we have a screw here that we're going to take off. There's a screw here. I've already taken them off here, but just to show you, there's a screw here. And then there's a screw, two screws here. And then you have this one over here. And all the screws are the same. They're Torx T30. So yeah, so you just and they're hand tight there. So when you take these off, this will fall over here. You might have to disconnect these two plugs. That's for your winch and I believe the dump box. Yes, the bed. So you might have to take that off, because what you got to do is you got to get up inside there. And that's why sometimes people just take this whole thing right off. It's just a few more bolts going across there and another push pin at the end. And you can take this whole piece off and have better access underneath. So just an update, I did take these here clips off. And they're not hard. If you see, there's a little tab here, this little white tab. You got to lift on it while you pull the connector. Same thing with this one here. You lift this little white tab here on the side here when it's connected, and you can pull it out. And then I just took off one extra bolt on the other side of the arm here so that it would droop down a bit more here. So you got much more room here. This is a better idea. Okay, so here you see I've already previously installed the kit beforehand, so I'm just installing this new version. But the kit here, so the old version had a smaller barrel here, so this hole was a 1/4 inch. The new one is just a hair under 3/8. So yes, this one here is like a 10 millimeter hole. And then of course you got the 1/8 hole on the side to lock in the pin. So I'm going to have to re-drill that to make it the bigger hole. So the way I did it here, just to explain what I did here, is before I drilled any holes here, I just put this tab here, and I kind of tried to align it so that I had the same gap on this side than on the top here, compared to the other one here. So you just kind of eyeball it here, this and this, pretty much at the same spot here, and that's where you mark your first mark, and then you drill that hole. After that, you can take the so this is the old switch, but the new switch is the same, except for this pin here is a plastic pin on the new switch. So what you would do with the switch after you drill this hole is put the switch in this way, and then see where this little tab hits onto your dash, and then you make a little mark there. Either you score it here if you can, or you see where it is and just mark it with a pen. That hole has to go at the 3 o'clock position. So this here little pin here on this switch or the other switch has to go in the 3 o'clock position, so that when you put this in from the underside here, this is how it's going to be installed. So this pin here will go into this little small hole, and that will lock it in place so that it doesn't turn on you when you adjust your knob. Okay? Oh, just one note there before leaving this here part of the procedure is before you drill this big hole, just make sure there's no wires in the back. On my unit, there was none, but I'm not, I can't guarantee that because you never know with these machines. They might have, someone might have routed it a little differently in the back, but there's lots of room here in the back on the underside. So this should just look in the back first before you drill. Okay, so here I'm using a 23/64 bit. So that's 1/64 below a 3/8 bit. This will work. Okay, so I've drilled the holes there. I'm going to tidy that up there with a little utility knife, just get those little burrs out there. But I'm just going to test fit it here. So I've taken the nut and the washers. There's no nuts or washers on this. And then you just, we'll try to see if this will fit. There, you see? So the switch is fitting flush, and that's what you want. I noticed that if you have the old style and you're upgrading, you might need to go to a bigger hole here for the pilot here. So on the old switch, it was 1/8. You would have to go to maybe a 64ths bigger or a 3/16 drill bit in order for this to go, because it is, I'm telling you, it is quite tight. So you want to make sure that it goes in the hole pretty nice like that. You see that? Okay, so this is the easiest way I've found to put the switch in there because it's quite congested there. So I put the 1/4" tubing over top of the valve, over top of the switch here stem, and I'm going to pull it up through here, and you can see where it's got to go is in between there. So that's going to pull up here. I can start pulling here just slightly and show you. That's got to go here, so I got to go move it around that bar before I'll show you another view of the angle here. Okay, so I've moved it around that little bar and pulled it up slightly here off camera. And then when you pull it, you can pull it right through here. So once you have it installed there, you can put your cap on. Okay, so to install this, we just took this connector and put it over top of the steering pipe, the steering column here. This piece here will go up and clip onto this bar right here. So all you have to do is kind of press it in place till it snaps in place and it's installed. And then you just tie wrap this cable to this bar so it doesn't flop around here. Make sure that everything is good here. You tie wrap it here. And then here, if you look in here, the connector you were looking for here, this is typically connected together. So you disconnect this cable and then connect this cable in between and then secure this cable to this arm, tidy it away, and you're done. Okay, so let's go through the operation here. I'm going to turn it on. Okay, so I've got everything on here. Now if I want to turn on the wipers for delay wipers, I turn them on here. So that's on a 2-second delay. It seems faster right now only because the window is dry, the windshield is dry, and the wipers are slow to go across, but it's about 2 seconds there when it's raining. And then if you increase it here, you should have about maybe 10 seconds of delay here. There we go. And all the way to 30. Now the thing with this is if you were to move this, so when you move this, automatically it resets the time so that the wipers go right away, so that you know that you've moved it. It kind of gives you some feedback that you've made a change. So there. If I want to turn it back to the minimum, that's the 2 seconds. Okay, and if I turn it off, that's off. Your wipers will work the same way that it always has from the wiper arm here. So we'll turn it off there, and even if this is on, the delay wipers are working. But if I turn this on, it just continuously operates the wipers until you turn this off. Then it goes on the delay function. To turn the wipers off completely, you turn it off there. And then to finish the installation, you just have to reinstall this here plastic cover over top here, and you're done.